Give a great idea of where he was last season, but this is going to be the final player for itsGosu. So Rocker sort of has the opportunity to be the hero here for vVv and win them a week of Wednesday Night StarCraft.
All right, so Rocker really showing how he is the strong Protoss versus Zerg once more, but now this is going to be Protoss versus Terran, and a TVP here on Shakura's Plateau. Rocker spawning on the top right-hand side of the map as the purple Protoss. Meanwhile, pink Terran on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Full cross spawns, no close by air, which normally does mean a very macro-centric game, and we'll see whether or not STX can force a game 7.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't surprise me to again see these players go for that macro style game like you mentioned, either the one Rex or the one Gate Expo coming from both players. But as we saw in that game on the Antigua where So Young had that build going, you can apply some early pressure as either of these races. So if you catch your opponent going for a macro style, you can sort of try to hit that timing where it's very difficult to defend at an early all-in. And with vVv having 2 players left, I mean, I know Rocker definitely wants to end this, but going for a non-traditional strategy here with 2 chances to knock out STX, it wouldn't really surprise me.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to come in. We can see Chrono Boost now on the Nexus. It might be a 14 gateway. Meanwhile, a barracks and no front door being established by STX. We've said as of late that a lot of Terran players now do, in fact, wall off against Protoss, wanting to make sure that a Stalker and a Zealot don't easily get inside the base. I think because of that, we should see STX get a tech lab and perhaps go for earlier Marauders to try to slow down any early aggression, as the probe is wandering around, and the probe now chasing after this SCV. The SCV wanting to make sure there is no proxy pylon, no proxy gateway, and the probe full on shields ready to deal some damage once more.
Yeah, back in the base of Rocker, just adding sort of normal timing for that gateway and that assimilator, and I think the next building by STX is definitely going to tip off what his build is going to be, whether it's a really late gas, and it would be a late gas at this point, or whether it's that command center once that probe is sort of shoot away from the base. We do see STX creeping towards 400 minerals, so I imagine it will be that fast command center, and Rocker wants to do his best to try to verify that it will be this macro style coming from the Terran.
Yeah, the probe does get shot down, unfortunately, so STX able to shoo away the probe, but based upon what he saw, no gas from his opponent, SCV next to a Marine at the natural expansion, he can pretty much assume with good certainty that an expansion is coming in. And Rocker deciding to tech behind this, knowing that his opponent is not going to be able to do as much if Rocker can attack with technically superior units. Cybernetics core now completed. Warp gate tech has not been started. A Zealot chasing after that SCV and perhaps getting that earlier assimilator. And now going for a sentry, as Rocker perhaps looking to get as many sentries as possible.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what his tech choice is here. He did get that second gas pretty early for this matchup, especially knowing that his opponent did go for the fast expand. So he's going to have a big bank of gas here. He could do sort of the similar type of build that Rhythm did in the game against So Hyung. Instead of going really techy to start, he'll throw down the Nexus and then go really techy, knowing that Terran can't really put a lot of pressure on you when they're also macroing behind this. It takes a while to get add-ons on the racks. It takes a while to get stim going, and it's hard to push out against gateway units when you don't have those early upgrades for Terran. So Rocker could do some tech behind this, and we'll see what he chooses to go for.
All right, STX now trying to slip up the ramp. It looks like a new sentry will be there to stop it. No, simply allowing the SCV to go in. A little bit of a brain lapse by Rocker there. The SCV now getting all the scouting information it could want, seeing the double gas, seeing the one gateway, and now we'll see what STX tries to do, as he knows his opponent only has one production building as well, and knowing that it's more like, I have a tech advantage, you have an economic advantage, but my Nexus is about to be completed anyways. And we also see that Rocker has a 6 probe advantage, but there are also 2 mules in play.
Yeah, with STX having these 3 racks, he could maybe push out some Marines, and yeah, that's exactly what he's going to be doing. He knows that there's just one gateway so far, and it's going to be difficult for Rocker to defend this Nexus. He does have 3 sentries, so he's going to be able to place those force fields down and delay this push, and maybe he'll have another gateway unit out by the time this push does hit, but he's not creating it right now. His warp gate tech just now finishing, so the 1 gateway going to be going to be transformed here into a warp gate, and he's going to probably come out with no, it's going to be another sentry. So he's going to try to delay this attack, and it looks like STX going to turn around and go home and not push out here or put any pressure on.
All right, so no early engagements from either of these players. 35 probes versus 30 SCVs. We finally see STX go into a factory now. Observer is making its way out across the map. We can see that Rocker does have 3 warp gates, with a 4th one coming in and now training up an Immortal. Immortal will be very, very helpful as well. We'll see what's going to happen here as the Marines of STX perhaps waiting for an Observer to come by so he can scanner sweep it out of the sky.
This is a lot of sentries for Rocker. He's got 6 right now, so he is going to be able to control, with good micro, any early engagement these 2 players have. So if some sort of stim timing push comes, and we do see stim about halfway done, as long as Rocker has good force fields, really starts splitting some of these Marines, maybe throws up a Guardian Shield, he's going to be able to deal with it pretty easily. Right now, he doesn't have a very good army against just Marines, doesn't have any Stalkers, no charge lots, and the Immortal not going to do so hot as well. But he's really going to have to make use of those sentries, that energy and force fields.
Rocker is getting up a second Observer, is getting up the Robotics Bay, and both players just, I guess, trying to play it safe. As you said, Rocker could have tried to play it a little bit more aggressively, perhaps confuse STX, as vVv does have 2 chances to win, but Rocker may just say, you know what, I like my late game versus Terran, and that's what he's going to try to go for. Sentries are really, really fragile, though. They are very expensive, 150 resources with only 80 hit points, and we'll see how much damage or how effective these sentries will be. There are spells very effective in the early game, as the Observer now making its way forward. It has to be careful. There is a missile turret at the front door, and it could get shot down very quickly.
Yeah, both players sort of posturing, taking midfield, with STX with those early Marines, and now Rocker with those early sentries, and he gives away the fact that he's got all these sentries with banked energy, so the Terran knows that he's going to have to deal with force fields. He's going to wait for a few medevacs here so he can really stim and micro around those force fields best that he can. We do see that Rocker is teching up, still going for Colossi with extended thermal lance, and a scan catches those Colossi, so STX is going to know he needs to make another round or 2 of Vikings after he comes out with a few more medevacs, and Rocker also going for 1-1, so a lot of upgrades happening for Rocker, sort of posturing to get a 3rd base in the southeast as well.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen next. Rocker needs to get at least 3 Colossi to really deal with this massive Bioforce. Vikings are being added, but interestingly enough, we are also going into a Stargate. So perhaps we are going to be seeing some Phoenixes to absorb some of the damage against Vikings. This is one of those situations where most players don't know. In a head-to-head battle, Phoenixes actually outpower Vikings. So we'll see what comes of that. The Vikings will really have to focus down and try to take down the Colossi, and the Phoenixes are essentially damaging meat shields at this point.
Yeah, we do see that STX dropping here, and it looks like he's going to try to do a little bit of economic damage. We have Rocker does have 1 Phoenix out right now, so he could try to chase down those medevacs. But like you mentioned, this late Phoenix transition, and an interesting choice. It's definitely going to give him sort of air control, and if STX is not microing those Vikings to take down the Colossi, they could waste shots on the Phoenix, and even if they are attacking the Colossi, the Phoenix will take them down pretty quickly. So an interesting late game tech switch for Rocker.
Yeah, Rocker, we'll see how many Phoenixes he really goes for. Currently sitting on 3, gonna go up to 4 in just a moment. And perhaps the Phoenixes are also there to try to and perhaps shut down drops. I know a lot of Protoss players say that Shakura's Plateau is a bad map for them, especially against Terran, because drops are so easy to execute. So similar to how some Zerg players would want to go into Mutalisk on a map like this. Perhaps he wants to go, you know what, I've been losing the drops, I need to get Phoenixes, and with a Phoenix or two, perhaps I can prevent or even get lucky taking down a Medivac or two with 3-3 Marines and Marauders, huge anytime after or during the mid-game.
Yeah, the other thing Rocker could do is a little bit of economic damage. There's no missile turret in the supply line or in the mineral line at either of these bases for STX. There is one sort of by the natural, but it's more towards the front of the ramp. But STX already lifted off a factory, and he's spotting for airdrops or airplay coming in from the lower end of the map. And it looks like STX is going to choose this opportunity to push out. He's got more Vikings than Rocker has Phoenix right now, 10-6, so this is a pretty decent timing for him. He's going to be able to take down the 3 Colossi and perhaps the 3 Phoenix pretty easily.
Yeah, it's going to be really important whether or not Guardian Shield is used. Guardian Shield reduces the damage from a Viking by 4, since it does have that double attack. And then when you couple in the fact that the Phoenixes are going to be absorbing some of the damage, and it may be difficult to actually focus fire onto a Colossi just because the Phoenixes are stacked straight up on top of them. So it's going to be something that if STX's micro isn't spot on, he may accidentally misclick, try to take down a Phoenix, and that's exactly what Rocker is hoping for, as Rocker now has 9 Phoenixes in the air, and here we go.
Yeah, I think what prompted this attack as well was STX scouted the 3rd going down for Rocker, so he figures, I don't have my 3rd yet established, so I'll try to hit a little bit of a timing here. He is just now landing his 3rd he had created in his base, so both players even in food and as well in bases. So here comes the stim and a big engagement.
Here we go. Marauders and Marines engaging. There's the Guardian Shield. The Vikings going after the Colossi. The Colossi falling very quickly, but in come the force fields, and the Phoenixes are shutting down all the Vikings, so the Viking numbers do have to be replenished. Medevac's now going to get destroyed, as that has to be careful as well. No more healing coming in, and now picking up Marauders, and now denying any sort of retreat. Brilliantly played by Rocker.
Yeah, 11 Phoenix still alive, so he's going to be able to pick up this entire army as it goes home and chase them down, and this is going to be a big blow for the Terran player. Rocker might have done it. Yes, he just won Wednesday Night StarCraft 4-2 in favor of vVv.